Welcome to another edition of Group Insight for the Soul. We are here to just see what God has for us. Bridget and I, love working with intuition. We love being a vessel for God to communicate, encourage, empower, enlighten. And we love doing it in a group because God wastes nothing. And so, as you hear some of the things that we give to our participants today, and that's something that you really desire, just say, I'll have some of that too. I want some of that too. Or maybe there's some insight that you're like, oh my gosh, that totally pinged for me. And so, we love doing it in a group because everybody gains exponentially, and that is the mathematics of the spiritual realm, is multiplication. And so doing it in a group always serves more, it gains more, it fills more. And so Bridget and I love it. And this is my counterpart, Bridget.
Hello. And yes, I'm so excited to have two willing participants join us today. So thank you so much for being here.
Very glad
All
to
right,
be
you
here.
guys. Well, Bridget, let me ask you, who do you feel like we're going to start with today?
I feel like it's Rebecca today.
All right.
Yay.
So question, situation, do you want to pull a card? Do you just want insight? What's your pleasure?
Hmm. Honestly, I would just love to have any insight on like what I'm ready to know. What's next?
Mm,
What am I ready to remember?
mm. Bridget, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What are you feeling?
Go ahead if you have stuff. Go right ahead.
Okay, the biggest thing that comes up is the greatest embodiment. Mm, okay, better way to say that. The greatest spiritual experience comes only through embodiment. Believe it or not, we can be super spiritual in our cognitive mind. If, however, it's not in our body, we're not actually activating that spiritual law or that spiritual insight or whatever. And so recognizing that that is the fullness of the integration of the human and the spirit. And so I sense that maybe you might be somebody who's a little hard on yourself and you expect a lot from yourself. And there is this cognitive understanding. And yet, sometimes because it doesn't come to fruition or it doesn't manifest or you can't make something happen or whatever, that sometimes you kind of find some fault with you. Um, and and the encouragement that I have for you is like the human moves slower, right? Spirit is instantaneous. However, the human is linear and it goes in
Mhm.
steps, and it's like this. And actually that's the joy, right? If a child popped out of our womb and was like, "Hey mom, what's up?" blah blah blah, walking around, like, we would miss all of that developmental and the
Mhm.
excitement of the development. And
Mhm.
and God's like, Rebecca, I want to watch you do something new today that you didn't do yesterday. And I want to watch you and I want to celebrate that with you. And I want you to celebrate it for you. And recognizing that there's nowhere to get, there's no destination. There is just simply the unfolding of that part of you. And every time we allow that unfolding to be just the natural unfolding without any expectation, we live in that childlike awe and wonder. And
Mhm.
I just sense that your heart, it's orgasmic to live in that awe and wonder,
Mhm.
right? And that is what you desire. And it comes sometimes in that slow, methodical. I feel like go watch Soul, the Disney movie
Mm.
Soul. Go watch Soul again and really see it from the perspective of what we're talking about, because you are
Yeah.
magnificent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is what I love about doing group work, is that each thing that we talk about is meant for each one of us individually, as well as the person who asked, and it's meant for everybody who's listening and watching. And it's the first thing that I got, Rebecca, was like this confusion almost,
Mm.
like trying to get it right and perfected. And then as Lori was talking, I was like, oh, that's like all of this made sense to what I was feeling. And the dynamic, the synergy, the right of the collective group, I just love how that plays out. But there is such a deep rooted harmony within you. And when you're trying to figure it out to get it right, it's
Mm.
almost like you're splitting yourself from that deep rooted harmony.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
the beauty of how innately intuitive you are is amongst nature and very flowy, like nature is. So that it's almost like letting yourself off the hook when
Mm.
you're trying to get it right, and allow yourself to sit in his embrace and feel, because it doesn't have to be right. And the other thing that popped for
Mm.
me was what physically haven't you stepped into? Like what next step? Um what is something, because like Lori was talking about, if we're trying to get it right, perfect before we go do it, we're
Mm.
almost sabotaging ourselves from taking that step. And
Mm.
so one single step, one little thing to do that would be yummy, just for the sake of doing it, not to get it right or because this is part of the path or the plan or anything like that. Just
Mm.
one thing, and then go do it. And then
Mhm.
pick another thing and then go do it. Like kind of like bungee jumping or parachuting on vacation. Like, what am I going to do first? And then I'll go do the other thing.
Mm.
It doesn't all have to
Mhm.
be planned out and everything beforehand.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
and just one more little nugget as Bridget was saying, your question included, what do I need to remember? And remembering that you're already in right standing, like you're already starting from where you're trying to get to. Like
Mhm.
that's your starting point. And remembering that harmony that
Mm.
Bridget talked about is you already are. You already are in
Mm.
harmony. You already are integrated. You already are enlightened. You already are perfected in your spirit. You already are.
Mhm.
Now go from there.
It's good stuff.
Mhm.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Rebecca.
ladies.
Yes.
All right, Miss Lisa.
Okay, well, I'm going to take all of what y'all just said. Okay,
Absolutely.
so it's like, yep, 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 yep. I'll take me
Yep.
all. I'll take me all of that. So,
Yes.
actually, I was nudged to have you pull a card, and
Okay.
then I also am just asking for whatever the spirit would bring.
Okay. What, 1, 2, or 3?
3.
Wisdom of the hidden realms.
Love that already. And it's card number 7, Lori.
Oh, well then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The sacred union. Show you the card.
Okay.
And it says partnership and romance.
Interesting.
So Bridgit, I'm ready if you are not, and if you are, please go ahead.
No, go for it.
So the first thing that came up is the picture that the Bible depicts of partnership and even romance. We're the bride and Christ is the bridegroom. And when we look at that from the perspective of that sacred union, is when it plays out in our human and our spirit, when it plays out in that divine dance of us made in the image of God, fully human, fully God. And when that plays together, it is the perfect romance. And how often do you romance yourself? And how often do you see that God within you as your partnership? And sometimes we do it this way, right? However, what's being called for is a different energy of the God inside of you, the masculine God inside of you that loves you and takes care of you and provides for you and wants to sweep you off your feet. And do you believe that that's happening? Do you really believe it? Right? Again, going back to even where we started with Rebecca. If we know it, but we're not experiencing it, we don't know it. Right?
I'm there. Yeah.
If we think it, but we don't manifest it, it as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Right? And really, really practicing that, being romanced, being persuaded to be in this surrender, right? I think sometimes we even try to surrender from our willpower instead of recognizing we're surrendering into love, we're surrendering into provision, we're surrendering into enlighten or insight, we're surrendering into something. We're not surrendering from something, we're surrendering into something. And that is that sacred union where we get to, and again, like the word orgasmic is coming. This is making love. This is that beautiful, just being swept off your feet by the one that absolutely adores you.
Okay, you're going to make me cry. Okay.
Yes.
So, and Bridgit, if you've got something, what's coming up for me, and so where I've been the last few weeks here is coming out of survival mode. And so I worked in corporate for 42 years. And when I got laid off the end of July, God said that era is done. This is not the end of a chapter. This is the end of an entire book. So that book has closed. I don't know what the new is yet. And so I'm in this transitional space, and it's been really interesting. And as you were describing that romance and what the Lord wants, he kept telling me my interactions lately have been very transactional. It's not even relational. It's like, okay, God, I'll do this for you, and then you're going to do this for me. You know, it's your word says you're going to do this, but there's missing this whole element of fun. I'm fun challenged. And so it's missing the joy, it's missing the fun. It's kind of like, you know, you talk about romance, it's like, why even bother? I mean, and this is just what's coming up in my heart right now is why even bother? You know, life is so hard. It has been so difficult for so long. Romance is a luxury that I haven't been able to afford. And that's shifting. I mean, literally yesterday when the calendar moved to September 1st, and this was a question I was going to ask y'all, is there was a dramatic shift for me that started yesterday. You know, did anybody else experience that, or is that just for me? Or not just for me, but is it where I'm at? Did you all feel a shift yesterday? Anybody?
I've
I
been
felt
going through
today.
stuff, so I don't know if it was yesterday or
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
in
I'm
the
like.
last couple of days, maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
And that is the collective in particular group. It's not a collective for everyone. It's collective for those that are connected. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So there's the modality that Lori and I teach is called Infree, and within
Mhm.
Infree there are 12 practices. And when Lori was reading, so partnership and romance, the practice that popped up for me was I'm 100% spirit and 100% physical. And the partnership piece of it feels very physical. It like when I have a partner, like you said, it's transactional. I look at a
Mhm.
partner like I would like a business transaction.
Yes. Yes.
The romance is that unseen, that spirit piece. And so I love, like, even as you were describing kind of what was going on, because the other thing that really popped for me right at the beginning of the whole card with the picture and everything was this huge heart space, is what I kept feeling. And it, when you're talking about you're coming out of survival. So it's been very transactional, very physical. And the invitation that I feel that you are 100% spirit and 100% physical, you have been playing in this physical for so long that it's okay to start stepping into that unseen and allowing yourself to feel God's presence, even when you can't see it, even when it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense,
Mhm.
even when it, you can't explain. Romance is a feeling. It's very much being swept off my feet is a feeling. And God is inviting you, like, I'm sweeping you off your feet. Let me let go of this physical so that I can sweep you and show you all of this more, and to let yourself off
Oh,
the
that's good.
hook for everything that you've been going through. It's you are both. You're 100% physical and 100% spirit. Let the physical off the hook. Let the spirit off the hook for that perfection, Rebecca.
Mhm. Oh,
Let yourself off the hook and you'll be swept away into the unseen of what God has in store.
that's so good, Bridget.
Yeah.
You know what came up when when Bridget was kind of describing some of that being swept off your feet is, it's so cliche, but we're like, that nobody wants the nice guy. He's too nice. We want the bad boy. We want the right. And part of that is because we like are addicted to the chaos. We're addicted to that transaction. We're addicted to that kind of functioning, right? And so then now going back to even where we started with Rebecca again with and and lots of grace. Like 42 years is a long time to be in that kind of energy, and the fact that it's going to take you that persuasion to be persuaded by the love of God. And it's okay if some days you don't surrender to it, and it's okay that some days you don't feel like that. Just remember that it is available, and it really is what you want. It really is what you desire. And it's very real that we have an addiction to the aversion of this.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's okay. And lots of grace.
That's really good, really true. Yeah, and I was sensing the same thing Bridget said about that interplay, that it's dance. It's that dance in the middle. And like I said, it feels like it's a luxury that I either haven't allowed myself or circumstances did not allow me, whichever way. And it's like you said to Rebecca, you have to let go of the old to make room for the new. And I think that's the season I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything is in perfect order.
I may need you to tell me that one again.
Right? It's so true. Everything is in perfect order. Right? If we really could shift our reality as quickly as our cognitive mind, right? It would be like the rug getting ripped out from underneath us, right? I've used this example in coaching a few times when people are like, well, I don't know why it doesn't show up, and it's what I really want, and blah, 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 and I don't know why it takes so long. Think of every movie, like Freaky Friday 2 is out right now, right? And the ones like 13 going on 30, or The Day That We Met, or whatever, when people wake up and their reality is dramatically different, right? And they freak out. That's the first thing they do. They freak out. They think they're going crazy. They try to come back to their old reality, right? The reason that things shift slowly in the physical is so our heads don't explode, so we don't freak out, so we don't feel crazy, so that we can actually adjust as we're moving into that greater vibrational reality. Right? Which is why everything is always in perfect order. Because if it was embodied, it must show up. And if it hasn't embodied yet, it's because you're moving towards it and it's just not time. Otherwise, your head would explode or you would think you were crazy. So thank you, Jesus, for his timing, right? Yeah.
Kronos versus Kairos.
So what?
Kronos time versus Kairos time.
Oh,
So
that's a new one for me, Lisa.
Okay, so in the Greek, there's two words for time. So Hebrew only has one word for time, kind of like we do. In the Greek, there's two words. There's chronos, which is where we get our word chronological. And so that is the walking out day by day by day. Kairos is God's appointed moment of destiny. And so Kronos leads you into the Kairos.
I love that.
Isn't that cool? God's
It's
so
so
cool.
cool.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Well,
Thanks, ladies, for
thank
being
you.
here. Bridget,
This
is there
was
anything
amazing.
last final words?
No, again, this is what I love about these small groups, when we get into these discussions, and like Lori said, I love I love anybody, everybody is welcome into the space, but I love the two of you are super open, super intuitive yourself, so that you can take the words that we say and just see where it fits in you, because everything that was discussed, if you're hearing it, it's because it's meant for you right now. That's the
Mhm.
God doesn't waste anything. So I love these conversations that we can get into and just tap in and say, oh, where is that? Where is that hitting for me? And then how do I use that in my life? So we're each unique, we're each so special. And so thank you so much for being open
Mhm.
and sharing in this journey with us.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. And if this seems fun for you and you would like to be one of our participants, we have a calendar link in the description. And please feel free to reach out. We would love to have you come on and share some gifts with you. And until next time, thanks for being here.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. This was great.
Yeah.